Hi, this is Bakersoft, and welcome to part 2 of playing The Long Dark. Um, as I mentioned in the first video, my hope here is to give back to the Steam community and try to provide some video tutorials or tips and tricks to those of you who haven't played it, to maybe hope to convince you to buy the game. It means nothing to me. I don't get any kickbacks or anything from it. Just so you know, in case you watched the last video, I think I may have mentioned, deciding whether or not to buy the game. But like I said, that has nothing to do. I'm not a developer. I don't sponsor them or anything like that. So I could care less if you buy the game. But it is a cool game, so just try to push it. But anyway, so um, like I said, I am hoping that I can give back to the Steam community by publishing these videos, and hopefully this helps someone out there, whether you're a complete noob to the game or you've been playing and, maybe you have I get you some aha moments. Alright, so last video we talked about the key bindings and stuff like that, and this video we're going to cover your first day and night in the game. Like I mentioned in the last, we're going to do Pilgrim. I'm just going to be a dude, and we're going to choose Coastal Highway for this series. So, story is, storm brought down your plane during the northern Canadian wilderness. How long can you survive for? And then you get some random quote. Alright, so it said something about silence, something or another. So while we're here, actually, I'll pause the game. This is for those of you who want to use the map. That's probably a good idea, but we're actually in this silent clearing, so we're way over here actually right now, which is good and bad. So let's start our trip. One thing about this menu, just be sure sometimes, because these two options end with game, and I've had times where I've accidentally clicked load game instead of back to game. Yeah, just be careful that you click the right one, especially if you're especially if you haven't gone into a house. The one thing to note is that the game saves every time you enter a cabin, or any house for that matter, except for lookouts. Lookouts actually, they don't save the game in those cases, so you want to be careful there. But for houses, they do, and every time you go to sleep, they do. So there's something there. I think there's a cabin over here somewhere. Now, once you've played the game, quite a bit, you'll start to get a feel for where everything's at. You don't need to worry about how to maybe necessarily using the map as much, although it still kind of helps. So in this case, I'm traveling over down here. There's this one lone cabin, and this one's actually, I think this is kind of one of the nicer ones. I think it's one that has a fireplace and whatnot. So as you can tell right now, I think it's early morning, because you kind of see some of the sun shining through, but it is dark as hell in these houses. I think in the previous video I mentioned something about the keybinds. Oh look, there we go, can opener. I mentioned something about keybinds and whatnot. But alright, so
I could use this.
Alright, got some soup, lantern fuel. That's good. It's a good start. So on your first night, first day, I would say your objective is to hit up as many houses as you can and collect anything and everything that you can find. That whether it being, food, clothes, really anything.
Hope nobody needs this anymore.
Matches. All these things are going to help you and your ability to survive later on in the game, especially, well, even early too, depending upon what you can find. So on your first night, I would say that your objective would be to find, if you can find it, would be a hunting rifle, a hatchet, a storm lantern, a can opener, some firewood, a newspaper, whether it be a roll or newsprint, and accelerant. The storm lantern will definitely help, like
That'll come in
when you're in these houses looking for stuff. You know, as you can tell, it's dark as hell. I don't know how well this will even project, be seen in the video. I mean, it should see a little bit, but it is very dark. Even on my screen, I can barely see anything, and that sucks. So if you have a storm lantern will make it much easier to see stuff, especially things that are like laying on the table. See, there's a soda there you can barely see. There's a cabinet right here. And it's dark as hell in this house. And there's some socks and mittens. Search the fridge and refrigerator. Searching the fridge and refrigerator makes sense because... Oh wait, I think there's a... Nope, there's usually something here. No, I guess not. Searching the fridge or the freezer...
I could use this.
...will actually sometimes result in finding some food. Sometimes you'll find like tin cans of sardines, or some venison. Like you'll find some frozen venison, or sometimes you'll find cooked foods. Same thing applies for even like in the oven. Sometimes you'll find like cooked food in the oven that apparently is still somewhat reasonably editable. So because you can eat it, so it's a little interesting. But yeah, so sometimes you'll find stuff in the ovens that you can eat too. So we've covered a list of everything that you can find. One reason why I say collect everything, I mean, those of you who play the game, you understand that
nobody needs this anymore.
At some point, your guy will he'll start getting to the point where he can only carry so much stuff, which is pretty realistic, because if you were traveling by foot, I mean, you're probably not going to be carrying like 200 pounds worth of stuff on your body, because there's just no way you'd be able to walk. Oh, so cracker, see that? I can't see anything. Yeah, so you wouldn't be able to carry like 200 pounds of stuff on your back. I mean, that's obviously not realistic. So your guy will start to get weighed down. Now, for the first night, that might kind of be annoying, to try to carry a lot of stuff. So let's just do this real quick. So in your equipment, you'll notice you have a capacity. I plan on going over this in the third video, but why not real quick now? And you'll have a capacity. So right now my capacity is 15. Basically 30 kilograms is the max amount of weight that you can carry. So everything you pick up will add to that. And if you ever get to a point where you have too many, on the bottom left of the screen, it will tell you you're encumbered, which just means that you got too much crap. And if, in that case, you may want to consider actually either, if you're hungry, you eat some stuff to kind of lose some of that, drop some of that weight, or you consider just dropping some items that you have. And just to drop anything, you can filter this down by food, clothing, material, whatever, tools. If you had like 5 can openers, then maybe you could drop like a couple of them, and that's fine. Maybe you just make a mental note of where you did that, come back and get them when you aren't encumbered. So right now my guy's a little thirsty, so like I said, I'm planning on covering this stuff in the next episode. But it's probably at least that important to know. So you want to make sure that your guy's fed. Make sure that his hunger and thirst are low. And all the other things we'll talk about later, because they're not really as important right this minute. So we've collected everything in this house. We'll leave. Let's see. Yeah, so when we talked about, and later actually, and also in a subsequent video, the next one, I will likely show you how you go about storing stuff. And just be careful when you're walking down hills, for sure, because your guy, if you don't have any medical supplies, and you go down a hill too far, you'll see your guy like kind of go airborne. That's usually not good because chances are he'll like sprain an ankle or something like that. And if you don't have like painkillers or any type of bandages or anything like that, then you're pretty much gonna get screwed, and your dude's gonna be like hobbling along trying to survive, and you might already be screwed. Although I haven't noticed necessarily that it makes him walk any slower, so maybe that's just a current version of the game type of thing. Look in between every single crack. Look, there's another can opener. Look, some tools. You need those. You definitely want the simple tools. Look, see venison. We have some cooked venison. Now, right now, I am in the... I don't know if it popped up on the screen or not. I didn't notice it. But right now, I'm in the coastal town site, so we basically went south. Whether or not that direction is really what it is in the in-game, I don't know. I just call it south because, for me, I consider the train kind of station area, the railroad tracks are really the north for me, and so the silent place that we spawned at was more was east. It was like the east coast. So actually, I guess we're traveling northwest. Alright, so we checked the cabinets, checked the refrigerator and the freezer. Oh look, we got a flare. We got some wood. This is actually one of the houses that I do like. There's actually there's two houses over here that are built like this. Oh, they're kind of neat. There's a cabinet there. Some cloth. Definitely, if you find cloth, keep that. Come in handy. Could definitely help save your life. But again, we'll go through that in later episodes. Alright, so more water. Water, you don't need to necessarily carry that much water. I just leave that as a little tip. You don't necessarily need to carry that much water because there's other ways to come across and obtain water. Especially if you're close to a house. Water can be found in toilets. Yeah, I know it's kind of sick sounding, but if there's any, that's a clean source of water. There is dirty sources of water, but that's for another episode. But if you if you notice, if you left click on the toilet, it'll actually give you the option to collect all water or take some of it. You can use the meter to choose how much you want. But at this point, I don't need water. In my inventory, I got 2.4 liters. I'm good for now. Like I said, you don't really need that much. Now, some of that is based on what other items you have in your inventory. So there's a little bit more to it than just don't carry that much water around. But we'll cover that, like I said, in a later episode. So, oh, I guess actually that is the house. Oh, that's weird. Why does it seem like it's missing a house? Oh, that's really weird. Well, I guess that's the house that I usually stay in then. So that's the house that I like. It's got, like I said, it's got a fireplace there, so you don't need to worry about setting up a campfire outside. And if you're playing like a more difficult level, I'm certain that if you're sitting outside, you need to worry about getting attacked by animals and stuff like that. So you want to be a little bit more safe about setting fires. Instead of building campfires, you just build a little fire inside in your fireplace, and you can still cook food and do all that stuff in there. So it's kind of neat to have a home with a fireplace. Actually, I guess that's something else that to cover too. Is as part of your first night, you definitely want to find a place to pack up or shack up at. Definitely a house of some sort. I mean, you do have a bedroll in your inventory by default, but normally I've never had to use it. I usually try to make sure that I go wherever I go, I've got the right amount of material to get from point A to B without having to really stop too much. Cardboard matches. I'm using the left control button to oh look, Stormlander, yes. Alright, it's got some fuel in it. So this is why you want a storm lantern. Oh my god. If you've been watching the video, you can actually... Oh my god, I can see! That's amazing! It's amazing, I can see. Alright, so enough of that. So you can still check, it'll keep the storm lantern lit. That's maybe something to kind of keep in mind when you're using the storm lantern, is that it only has so much fuel in it. And you can find, you can find fuel in places and refuel your storm lantern. But but you at the same time, you also want to keep in mind that you don't want to just sit there and keep this thing lit. Like if you're outside, don't carry the thing around lit. I mean, unless you're like your guy is freezing his what off, or girl, is freezing her what's off. You normally don't want to keep this thing lit. You don't usually have to. If you have the proper amount of clothing, you'll be warm pretty much anywhere you go. And in my next video, actually, you know what? I think I'll
that'll come in handy.
Talk about that in this video. That'll be a good thing as far as clothing is concerned. Typically, I'd check under these beds, but they're usually in these bigger houses. You don't find much. Usually, it's in like the trailers and whatnot. If you look under the beds. All right, see, I'm back outside again, so I'm actually gonna put that away, turn that off, because like I said, you don't need that lit the whole time. Alright, so as far as clothing is concerned, we'll talk about that because that is definitely important. Let's get in this house first before we do all that. Oh, you see the cars there. We'll talk about those in a minute too. So we're in this house. So as far as clothing is concerned, something I guess I want to talk about, from my experience, there's some ideal amount of clothing that you need in order to be make sure that basically you can weather pretty much any storm. So that if you do happen to get caught outside in the middle of a blizzard, you'll be able to survive pretty much just on your clothing alone. But so one of the things was a basic winter coat. I think when you start off, I don't even think your guy has a coat. So I mean that's definitely something you want to put on, and actually a wool scarf as well. Now, actually, well, just kind of a pro tip, I guess, more or less. I'll talk about the next video too, but as you see when you're clicking through each one of these items, on the right side, that actually shows a condition percentage. And this is basically like how well it's going to protect you. And you'll actually notice that the warmth bonus and windproof bonus changes with the condition. So in this case, this is 21%. It doesn't really give you much, but this is 95%. It gives me 0.9 Celsius warmth and windproof. So you definitely want to wear that one. Now, if you don't happen to have some of these items, that's fine. You just won't be able to wear. You won't be able to. It's just less protection for you, and actually, it's less weight. But for me, it's like I like to be bundled up, so that way I don't need to worry about trying to. If I get caught in the middle of a storm, I'm not gonna freeze to death, which that is the most important. Yeah, so you're not gonna freeze to death, which that's the most important. So now we also got some cotton long underwear, and actually I'm wearing the least helpful one. So I'm going to change my underwear. So let's see. Do we have some mittens? Mittens, actually, that is surprisingly the best gloves in the game that I found to wear. Wearing some mittens. And you'll notice on the left, whenever you change your clothes to something that's better, or if you weren't wearing gloves and you put them on, it'll tell you that it's warmer or colder based on your current condition. And this toque, that seems to be the warmest hat that you could wear. Wool socks also seem to be the warmest socks. Shoes are definitely cold. Insulated boots. See, I need those. Wear those. So let's run through the list again. So I don't have all the accessories here, so I can't really show you what it is here, but and I'll put it in the description of the video as well. The warmest set you can have: basic winter coat, basic wool scarf, cargo pants, cotton long underwear, a heavy wool sweater, insulated boots, mittens, a toque, and wool socks. Now, I will add to that by saying that, I mentioned earlier there's this condition. Those will protect you at the maximum amount if they are 100% good condition. And then the next, actually, I don't know, maybe a couple videos from now, we'll kind of talk over that about the condition and how to fix all that up. But for now, I'm just gonna roll with what we have. Actually, well, since I'm checking the house again, I'm gonna light my little thing so I can see better. Oh, look at that, under the couch, hiding as a flare. Now, I don't really care too much for flares. I've never actually had the need for them, but I take that back. Actually, yeah, I've never really had the need for them because I don't really get stuck in the storms too often. But you may want to consider carrying, maybe a couple flares so that if you are in the middle of a storm, you can chuck them babies and see where the hell you're going. It definitely helps
here?
if you're kind of lost or trying to find a path or whatever the case may be. So, so that's that. And when you're checking through the houses, check everything, check everywhere, because there's always little things hiding. Next we'll hit up the gas station. That is probably, again, that's probably the reason why I start with this coastal map.
I could use this.
That gas station is freaking loaded. I mean, just about everything and anything that you need, you can find there. I'm finding all sorts of other crap. Now I'm encumbered because I got a lot of stuff on me right now, so I may consider, I'm going to maybe stop at my house first and drop some stuff off. Like I said, my house is going to be the one with the fireplace. I know other people particularly like there's some sort of homestead that's in the Mystery Lake map.
Hope nobody needs this anymore.
Like I said, I don't really start there because I don't really prefer starting there. There's not as many places to loot. Oh, look, I got some trout. And that's why you search. That's why you search the fridge and the freezers, because you'll find food that's been cooked or uncooked, whatever it may be. There's some newspaper hiding under there. Newsprints and newsprint rolls can be used as tinder for your fires. So if you don't have any, oh, some peanut butter. Huh? Usually don't find that just like laying out around anywhere. So, like I said, newsprint and newsprint roll can be used as tinder for fires. You pretty much need some sort of tinder-like product in order to start a fire. I shouldn't have taken that damn water bottle. I don't need that. It's just making me weighed down. Nope, don't need you. Like I said, water, you can, I'll show you an anecdote for getting water in a later episode. Like I said, if you're in a house where you have a toilet with water, then you don't need to carry water around with you. So I think we're gonna go now back to the house so I can drop some stuff off before it gets too late. Like I said, this is pretty much just covering your first day, so you want to get as much of the stuff as you possibly can. Now you'll notice when I'm encumbered, my guy, when you use shift to run, your dude can go slow. And if you look at your equipment, look, he's got 36 kilograms out of 30. He's kind of weighed down. That's not the most that I've carried, but you can only imagine that if he's going this slow right now. I've had anywhere up to like 40 or 50, well actually I think I've had up to 48 kilograms being carried on my back, and your dude's like just chugging, he's just like struggling to walk anywhere. So your best bet is if you're going places, especially close by, pack light. Know that that any equipment that you need, you can readily go back to your house and get it. So actually something that I'm going to drop here is, I don't need the firewood. I don't need the newsprint. Drop it all. Newsprint roll, drop it all. Now I do have a tinder plug, but whatever, it's not weighing me down. I'm gonna leave that stuff there because it's right by the fireplace, right? So that's a good spot for it. In my bedroom, let's light this so we can actually see something in here. In my bedroom, I'm just gonna come over here and drop some stuff off for now. I'll just do it this way. But actually, it's gonna be my clothing. I don't need like any of this extra crap. So drop, because all this stuff just weighs you down. Cotton socks, you don't need those. You don't need the John ski jacket. You don't need the vest. You don't need mittens. Now, if you look at my capacity, you know, see how much that really took up a lot of weight just for all that stuff alone. And if I look at my food and drink, you know, I got a lot of crap in here too. I don't really need water. See, I got like 4 liters of water. I don't really need all that damn water. But whatever, we'll carry it for now. Well, actually, you know what? I think I'll drop some water off and put it in the kitchen, because I don't really need that much water. Well, you know what? We'll show you this. No, let's do that. I'll save that for later. Some water. We'll drop some. It'll give me an option how much. 2 is fine. Oh, I didn't mean to eat those. Meant to drop them, but whatever. It's fine. Now my thirst went up, so now I need to drink some water. Alright, so let me drop... I don't really need all this soda. I'm not going to drop those because we have a special place for those. I don't really need dog food for anything. Alright, so now we're back to a respectable amount of weight, but all our food's just kind of laying on the floor, whatever. It's good enough for now, right? So now we're going to hit up the gas station. So we have our lantern. We have a can opener. I believe we got a can opener. Our tools. So we got 2 can openers actually. I should have dropped some of those. We got some flares. We got a storm lantern. We got some simple tools. That probably should have been added to the list of things that you should try to get your first night, because simple tools will help you repair things if you need to. Like I said, I'll go into that in a later video. Actually, the next one we'll talk about repairing and that kind of stuff. But so we got a few of those things. We didn't get the hunting rifle yet, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get one before the day's over here. Hunting rifle is pretty far away, and why did I run all the way over there? The gas station's over here. That's why I like staying by this coastal town site, is because you have the gas station here, and if you're got too much crap, then you can always come back. It's right next door, and there's just a lot of places around this coastal highway area. I'm gonna turn on our little storm lantern again, and this is why you want to empty up before you come here, because like I said, the gas station is freaking loaded with stuff. We got some tea. Believe it or not, you can make coffee and tea in this game with a fire, any type of fire, campfire, or fireplace. Come on, man, give me the money. Give me the money. Alright, wouldn't do me any good. There's no one around to buy anything. You just go and loot it all anyways. But anyway, so, that fridge didn't actually have too much in it this time. Usually that fridge has a lot of stuff. You know, check everything. You got newsprint rolls. You know, take everything that you can find. Yeah, that's weird. Those usually have a lot more stuff in them. Flares. Down vest. I guess we'll just take that anyways. Why not? Some more newsprint. The one thing I find kind of odd though is that usually in like usually in medical kits I end up oh look, a pry bar, could use that for sure. And you know, that kind of takes us back to the oh actually that is actually useful for opening up locked items. So and we'll actually see one of those here in this gas station. There's actually a locked...
That'll come in handy.
Yes, that will come in handy. That will actually help us open up locked lockers. Sewing kits, take those, bandages, you know, anything you can find, anything and everything. Like I said, this is why I stay close by, because even if you are encumbered, you know, you're not encumbered for too long. Because you can always go back, non-working radio. You can always go back to your house. Another storm lantern.
What have we here?
Oh, that one's 100%. Hell yeah, we'll take that one. This one's 80%. It's got 20% fuel though. I wonder which one it carries. Oh, it does. I see it. It carries that one. Well, let's just use the rest of this one first. That other one's good because it's 100%. Cloth. Leather. The gas station usually, like, it's pretty consistent about how loot spawns there, especially in this toolbox. Usually the first one's cloth, the second one's leather, and then everything else is another set of simple tools. I guess you can never have too many of those. Why there was a soda in a desk drawer like that, I have no idea. Alright, usually, okay, rifle round. You can usually find a rifle round there. Sometimes there's something under that desk as well, or that cabinet or shelf, storage shelf. But usually, see, there it is. See, in the gas station, rifle ammunition. So that's good, so that when you do get your rifle, it'll actually work. Now in the gas station, you can find
Hope nobody needs this anymore.
antibiotics, shoes. Search all containers. All these file cabinets function, unless if it's already open. That's how you can tell, like, it's not gonna work. Almost like it's been searched before, or maybe it's just broken. I don't know, but usually if it's closed, you can search it. Wow, there ain't nothing in there. Here's our lockers. And this one will probably make me a liar, but you notice there's a locked locker. That's where the pry bar comes into play. You actually use the pry bar, see, it forces it open, and then it searches it. Now usually I don't find a whole lot in these locked lockers, so I'm surprised I actually have found anything in there. Usually I pry them open and there's nothing. So you pretty much just waste your pry bar. Scrap metal's good. Wood matches. Wood matches are the best.
That'll come in handy.
They have cardboard matches and wood matches. Wood matches seem to be the best when it comes to your percentage. The percentage of the likeliness that you will actually be able to start a fire. And that doesn't matter if you're indoors or outdoors. Your likeliness of starting a fire becomes much higher when you're using wood matches. And here's a little fire barrel, so you could actually start a fire in there and cook food or whatever. So we pretty much searched this whole area. I'm actually going to turn off my lantern now. We don't really need the lantern on. Oh yeah, see, it's still daytime. Oh, you know what? I think the sun's setting right now, actually. So we're going to go back. And it seems like the sun kind of sets pretty quick. I mean, it seems like, minutes in here tick by fast. I mean, obviously it's to make it, there's in-game time versus like real-world time. I mean, if this actually synced up to the real clock, that'd be kind of interesting, but then most people would probably only ever be playing at night because it's probably the only time they can ever really play, so that would kind of suck. At nighttime is usually just better, you just go to sleep and wake up. Actually, see, that's why I like my lantern. See, we missed this. There's some dog food under there. There's a newsprint roll. Nothing on the counters. Pretty much searched all that, and we searched all the cabinets and everything. But usually, like I said, you usually find things that you can't really see because they're in small spots. So that's that. So let's see. Let's drop some stuff now. Material. We don't really need the newsprint rolls here. The clothing we can drop in here. Notice here's our little collection of clothing items that we have that we don't really need for anything. And that kind of brought us down to respectable. That's the one thing just to kind of note about the capacity is that if you're at like 31 or just over 30, I mean, your guy will still move around pretty fast. But when you're like at 35 or 36, look, there's shoes right here. That's usually when you'll start noticing the slowdown. Usually you'll start slowing down at about 35, 36 kilograms. When you're about 5 or 6 over, that's usually when you'll start slowing down. So, just something to note. So, I mean, you can carry a little bit more and not be too slow, but when you're at like, if you get up to like if you're up at like 40 or even close to 50, oh, you can forget about it. Encumbered, you're just like, you're basically walking at this slower than the speed of just walking. So if you see how slow you walk when you're just regular walking, it's slower than that. So better off just trying to, be smart about how much you carry, depending upon where you're going or how you're getting there or how close you are to, the place you live or decide to stop. Like I said, for me, I'm prefer to be in the coastal town site. So let's go ahead and pause this game real quick, show you something. So on the map, like I said, in my case, I happened to spawn here in the silent clearing. So I pretty much got this house here, and I covered just about all these coastal town site houses here and the gas station. Now there are 3 cabins below that I could have done and an additional one. So there's about 4 that I haven't looted yet in just this one area. I could have went north, again, my north, to this one cabin, but, I just didn't. So I just went straight down here, headed straight for the town site, looted all these, and that pretty much took like a whole day. I mean, if you can tell the sun was going down. Now other spawn spots I've spawned like up here in the ravine before, like in this area, like literally like right here on the train tracks. That's actually not a bad spawn. One thing to note is that if you do spawn up there or somewhere even in the fishing camp, I think you can spawn there too ish. But if you spawn there in the fishing camp, you can also spawn here too. Actually, down in this rockfall area, you can spawn here where you cross the bridge and you go up towards this fishing camp. If you spawn anywhere over here on like this west coast side, that's actually not too bad. If you spawn on the west coast side, if you follow this little river, around this area up here, around the 1100 area, say negative 950, 1100, somewhere around here, you'll find off to the right there'll be like a corpse, and usually on that corpse you'll find a hunting rifle, and sometimes you'll find at least one hunting rifle round to go with it, in the corpse or next to it or something like that. It's not consistent. It hasn't always spawned there for me, but I would say probably 2 out of 3 times it does. So if I'm lucky, that's something on this map I would be able to just go up here, find that hunting rifle, and be good. Another place the hunting rifle might spawn supposedly is up here. This is Rabbit Grove. There's a house up here in Rabbit Grove, and it said that there's inside the house near the wardrobe, there's usually like a hunting rifle that's kind of, I don't know if it's like hidden somewhere or whatever, but there's usually a hunting rifle in there, and I've never seen a hunting rifle spawn in there. But then again, I never knew that one did spawn in there, so I just had seen one of this corpse over in this area, and that was really cool. So if you can get that the first night, then that's great. Especially if you need to hunt. But usually you get enough food, searching through these areas that you don't need to worry about. Oh, that's what the 24-hour clock is. Duh. Okay, that makes sense. So it's more just military time. But anyway, so usually you find enough food and drink and whatnot just searching through the cabins that you do within the first day that you don't need to worry about hunting rifle or looking for stuff. Occasionally, if you happen to wander the lake the first day, you can usually find like a wolf may have killed like a deer, so you can usually without any equipment you can harvest on its carcass basically and get some meat off of it and take it back home and cook it on your fire. So that stuff's usually gonna feed you the best. But until then, you pretty much have like beef jerky, candy bars, condensed milk. Believe it or not, condensed milk they consider that more of like a food item because you eat it, you don't drink it, which is a little odd because, I mean, it is liquid and you drink it, so I don't know. Apparently that fills you up. So, but water's the only thing that you really drink. So I find that kind of odd. Except for like coffee or like tomato soup, you drink tomato soup. Actually, no, I take that back. You eat it. You eat tomato soup, but like coffee you like drink, and so herbal tea you'll drink, and soda and whatnot you'll drink. But for some reason, condensed milk is something that you actually eat. So this first night, we did find quite a bit of stuff that some of the things that we were looking for. We got a lot of flares, which we just got to drop a lot of those. We don't need them. We got a lot of matches. We got two cases of simple tools. You only really need one of those, but it's always nice to have an extra set. We found 3 sewing kits. We did find a pry bar. That's, like I said, that's useful too for opening up those darn lockers. But unfortunately, we didn't find. Well, let's see. So we did find accelerant. We found a can opener. So those are two of the things that we needed. But we didn't find a hunting rifle. We didn't find a hatchet. We didn't find a hunting knife. I think I may have skipped over that in the beginning. But we did find firewood, a can opener, newspaper, and accelerant. So we found four of the, 8 things. Or actually, we found the lantern. So we found like five of the 8 things that you want to find your first night, or maybe six. I should say six of the 9, because you do want to have those tools. So the simple tools. So we did pretty good. We found another lot of. If you look at the materials, we found some cloth, some leather, some scrap metal. So that's always good to find too. Um, and then the next episode we'll go over it. We found antibiotics, and I don't know if we found painkillers or not. I don't think we did, but no, we didn't. But oh yeah, the first aid. So first aid, antibiotics for, if you do get bitten by something. Now, that probably doesn't really. Oh, bottle. Duh, take it. Stop. So never mind. But if you do get hurt, sometimes you'll have to take some antibiotics in order to, help yourself heal. I've never actually had use of that. I think that's if you're like get bitten by a wolf or something, then you don't want to get infected. So those will come in handy for that. But in, with the pilgrim mode, I have not really had a reason to use antibiotics. Antiseptic, same thing. If you get a wound, that's usually if you fall or something. There's cases where you may need to use it. Same with bandages. If you find painkillers, you definitely want those too, because if you fall and you hurt yourself, you'll take painkillers for the pain, and your guy won't be like crying the whole time. Um, I think that's enough. This is definitely a lot longer of a video than I thought, but I wanted to try to make sure I include as much information as I possibly can in these videos to make them as useful and beneficial as possible. So with that said, I think I will end the video here, and the next video we will talk about, I'll go through the UI. So basically, like all this crap, what the hell does all this stuff mean? It's kind of daunting at first. You're like, oh my god, there's like all these just crazy options here. What the hell? But some of these options will definitely help save your life and make surviving for you a lot easier. So until then, if you like the video, please do click the like button, leave me some positive or constructive comments. If you have any tips or tricks of your own in relation to what was discussed in this particular video, subscribe. Yeah, so until then, this is Bakersoft, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.